Audience targeting. It's really the gift and the curse with Facebook advertising. On one hand, we can target potential clients on such a niche level like we've never been able to before. On the other hand, it's really easy to waste a lot of money on your Facebook ads if you don't know how to effectively target the best performing audience. Well, as I say, I got you, because I'm going to show you how to find a top performing audience for your Facebook ads on today's 2-Minute Tip Tuesday. Hello and welcome to another episode of 2-Minute Tip Tuesday, and the fourth episode in a series dedicated to helping you with your Facebook advertising. On last week's episode, I promised you that I would talk about how to test and identify top performing ads on today's episode. Well, I'm not. That topic is reserved for next week. I apologize about that. I was mistaken, but I want to make sure that I walk you through each step in its proper order. So instead, I'm going to show you the best practices for identifying top performing audiences to target with your ad campaigns. Now, if you're familiar with setting up ad campaigns in Meta Ads Manager, you're aware that there are several targeting solutions to choose from. You can target an address with a 15-mile radius, a city with a 15-mile radius, a state, and there are a plethora of interests to choose from. These options are both a gift and a curse. It's great to know that you have choices if one thing doesn't work, but how do you find which one works for you? Well, that's what I'm going to show you on today's 2-Minute Tip Tuesday. So let's put 2 minutes on the clock and let's do it. So when you set up your campaign within Meta Ads Manager and you go to your ad set section, you'll see this section for audience. And this audience section will give you a list of different targeting options to target an audience with your campaign. Now, right off the bat, you'll see this option for age and gender. Now, you won't be able to target anybody based off of age or gender because advertisers within the real estate industry have to abide by HUD's Fair Housing Policy, and that restricts us from targeting people based off of age, gender, demographics, or behaviors. But the first thing that you're going to want to select is a location. Now, the default that you're likely to see is United States, and that's going to be too broad for really any real estate agent or mortgage lender, so you're just going to want to X that out. And you can target somebody or you can target an audience based off of a geographic location, and specifically a city. So for this example, I'm going to use Minneapolis, Minnesota. So if I type in Minneapolis, I can see the top of the list, Minneapolis, Minnesota. And now it's going to show me a map area of the audience that I'm going to target. Now, my audience size is really good. It's showing me that I'm targeting a pretty good size audience, and Meta likes that because it's giving me this green. But that's probably going to be an audience that is too large for anybody to serve. And that's because I'm not just targeting the city of Minneapolis. I'm targeting the city of Minneapolis with a radius of 25 miles. And that's because Meta requires you to include a radius around the geographic city that you're targeting. Now, I can reduce this down to 10, and you can see that it's a little bit better. I'm going to get a little bit more narrowed in on the geographic location that I can serve clients in. Now, if I want to get a little bit more specific in my targeting, I can just X out the city, and if I type in a location or an address, Meta's going to give me an option for addresses to choose from. And now I can get a little bit more targeted in on my geographic location up in the northwest part of the city. So once you have the geographic location selected for your city, and you can see that I'm still in the green, so Meta's determining that this is a good geographic location and audience size to target, now I can start adding on interests to target an audience on under the detailed targeting section. Now, if I just type in home buyer, Meta's going to give me a list of different interests that align with home buying. And if I just select first-time home buyer, I can see that now I'm targeting an audience within this Minneapolis area that are interested in first-time home buying grants. And you can see that Meta's still giving me a green, and so it's determining that's still a pretty good size audience. Now, I could increase that audience size by adding in more interest by just clicking on suggestions. And I could add on just several more interests. And in theory, that's a good idea because I'm increasing the audience size and I'm including more interests that align with homebuyer. But here's the issue with this. Some of these interests will perform really well and some of them will perform poorly. And you don't want to include the interests that perform poorly. So what I recommend doing is test one interest at a time. And I recommend doing that by just targeting one interest, place your campaign, see how it performs, and generally you'll see, if you're running a leads campaign, you'll see leads within a day or two. If you don't see leads within a day or two, you can discontinue it. But you'll test one interest at a time. Now, once you see how this is performing, you'll just want to go back to the ad set section of your campaign, click on duplicate, make sure that original campaign is toggled on and click duplicate. And now we're going to test a different interest to see if it performs, as well, better, or not at all. So what I'll do is I'll just click on suggestions, select a different interest, X this out, and publish the campaign, see how it performs, and I'll go through that process until I test out every single interest that is relevant to the audience that I want to target. And once I've identified all the interests that are performing really well and all the interests that are performing poorly, I'm going to want to consolidate all the top performing interests into one ad set. And I'll do that by just going back to the ad set section of my campaign, click on duplicate, make sure original campaign is toggled on, click on duplicate, go back down to the interest section, and now I'll just want to add in all the interests that are performing really well. So what this is going to do for you is it's going to increase the audience size for your ad set. So you're going to be able to give Meta more data to optimize your campaign. And you also included all the top performing interests into your audience, and you've eliminated all the poorly performing interests. Now, what happens if you're testing interests and you're just not seeing leads? Well, it could be one of two things. Either your ads are just not resonating with your audience, and you might have to test out different ads, or it could be that your audience size is too restricted and Meta's just not able to identify your ideal audience because it's just not large enough. If that's the case, then what you can do is you can just go with broad audience targeting by eliminating all the interests and just let Meta identify your ideal audience by targeting everybody within this geographic location and let them find the people who are most likely to complete the desired action of your campaign. But once you've done that, you've identified your ideal audience to target with your Meta ads campaign. Now just remember, there is not one single correct way to target home buyers and sellers across the country. Every area is different and you should test different options to find which audience will provide you the best return on investment. And if you find that your campaign is having difficulty performing, don't rule out the option that you might need to target a broad audience without any interest included. As always, if you have any questions about this tip or any other tip, please leave those in the comments below and I will make sure to respond to each and every one of them. I really appreciate all of you tuning in, and I'll see you all right here next Tuesday, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time for another 2-minute tip. Have a great week, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to 2-Minute Tip Tuesday. Make sure you subscribe to the Homes for Heroes For Real YouTube channel for more great content to help you grow your real estate or mortgage lending business.